Am I the asshole for telling my daughter to divorce her husband? Okay, I'm aware the title makes me sound controlling, but please read the entire story so you understand where I'm coming. My daughter, 26, is married to this terrible man. He doesn't work nor clean. He just plays video games from the money I give my daughter. She's overworked and honestly I think she should leave him. Every time I bring it up though, she says it's not my business and it's going fine. I know it's not my business to meddle in their relationship, but to me this is unacceptable. Well, last week was the last straw. She came to her home and overheard her husband say he's only with her because he's waiting for me and my wife to die to get an inheritance from my daughter. He also said he'll wait till he's drained it and then leave her. She told me this because she wants me to pay for therapy to help him. I done with this utter bullshit, hence the Reddit username I chose. I told her she has to leave him. I don't feel bad one bit, but she keeps saying it isn't my place to meddle in her relationship. I told her she has to leave him because I won't give her an inheritance knowing this man is going to waste it. She's saying I'm an asshole and to stop controlling her life. AITA. Minor edit. I can see your comments and am planning on cutting her off so he leaves since a lot of people suggested it. That includes the inheritance. Not the asshole. Tell the dude to his face that your daughter has been cut out of your will and that she will not inherit a dime. I suspect that would solve the problem very quickly. And do please present it as something that has been done, not as something that will be done. Stop giving her the money that enables her husband. Tell the husband you've disinherited your daughter. He'll leave her when she's not his cash cow anymore. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Cut them both off. If she doesn't want you to meddle in her life, then she shouldn't accept your money either. Not the asshole, but she's right that it isn't your place to dictate, but given your description, I don't think it makes you an asshole. However, you can dictate how your own money is being spent and it sounds perfectly reasonable for you not to want a dime to go his way. Simply state that you will no longer be providing monetary support to a two-person household consisting of capable adults. Everyone sucks here because if her reaction to actually hearing him say that he's only with her for some inheritances, get him some therapy, telling her to leave him is a lost cause. She won't leave him, and he won't leave her as long as he can milk her for funds. Looks like the only way is to make a new will ASAP, stop giving her money and tell them both why. It's your money, you can do what you want with it. Then he'll probably leave her. Your daughter will blame you, but there's nothing you can do about that. She has to figure this out herself. Sorry. Info. Why are you giving your daughter money? Not the asshole, but incurious does your daughter work? Because sounds like they both taking advantage of you if you're supporting both of them. Not the asshole, but at this point you are enabling her and their relationship by supporting him financially. If they are old enough to marry, then they are old enough to care for themselves. You need to stop helping out financially no matter how difficult it is to watch her fall down and fail for a while. Otherwise you are setting her up to have a horrible life where she doesn't understand how to care for herself or her future children. Stop now or watch her life only get worse and you are the one bankrolling it. Not the asshole, but you should stop giving any money given that it's enabling your daughter to be financially abused. Also, if you're considering disinheriting your daughter, maybe instead write your will so that all your daughter's intended inheritance is put in a trust that she can't receive unless she's divorced from the guy. That way she actually isn't being disinherited, but that guy can't get a penny. Your sill is disgusting. Not the asshole, but cut him off. If she doesn't have money he will leave. Not the asshole. My father-in-law tells his kids all the time, if I'm giving you money to help you out as a grown-ass adult, then my opinion on your life will be heard and respected. My spouse and I are the only one of his kids not dependent on him for money. It's sad. Not the asshole. Hearing something like that would set anyone against that person. You have every right to give your opinion to your daughter. I would even let them know that, true or not, none of the inheritance will be heading their way anyways. Of course you can't force your daughter to do what you think, but you are well within your rights to give her your opinion. It's up to her whether she listens or not. Not the asshole. Stop giving her money. I bet he'll leave once his meal ticket is over. Not the asshole. She's using your money to enable his bad habits. You should cut her off from that. And why would she want to be with a man like that anyway? You're gonna have to cut her off financially to help her. Not the asshole. You are looking out for your daughter's best interests. This guy sounds like an absolute leech and your daughter has unfortunately fallen into a trap of her own making of thinking, it can be made better, this can be fixed, he can change, etc. Cut her off from the inheritance, or leave a pittance to make sure it can't be contested in court. And stop giving her money. When the major sources of income dry up, that will likely cause her husband to leave on his own as there will be nothing left for him to drain. Not the asshole. Stop giving your daughter money. Set up a trust so any inheritance goes into the trust and the trust is controlled by someone you deem reasonable to control the allocation of the funds. Not the asshole. Cut her off financially and see if she comes to her senses. Not the asshole. But you can't go any further than telling her to divorce him. Your daughter is 26, a complete adult, and yet it seems she really believes that she can change that man into loving her. Perhaps talk to her about it. Tell her about the dangers of this kind of relationship like you should have told her 10 years ago. But make sure to make it clear that you're not gonna make her do anything. You're just giving her advice and after that it's her choice. Assure her that there are also other people in this world etc. etc. Also, your money is yours to spend. If you don't approve of him then you shouldn't have to give him any money. Not the asshole. That said, there are things you can control here and things you cannot. You can stop giving her an allowance, remove her from your will. You cannot make her divorce her husband. She's an adult and she's going to do what she wants. But you continuing to give her money enables this behavior. Cut her off. You can certainly help her pick up the pieces later when it's just her left. Not the asshole. Maybe put a clause in your inheritance where they don't get a cent if they are still together. Is that a thing? She won't listen. She's not ready to accept he's no good. A lot of people will go above and beyond for the person they married as they don't want to be a failure. That being said, is there any way to alter your will to make it clear he is to receive none of it? Not the asshole. I'd seriously consider cutting him off sooner rather than later. I know it is difficult to let a child fail when you have the means to help, but in this case it is just enabling that man to keep taking advantage of you and your daughter. Make it clear that at 26 she and her family should be trying to be financially independent. Also that as long as she is with him, given his past statements, that your inheritance money will be going to your other children or to charitable institutions. Not the asshole. My ex had money from an inheritance and loved showing it off. He attracted moochers from everywhere. They told him what a great guy he was and how much he helped them. Well, the ex ran out of money and the moochers left the first time there was nothing for them. As soon as you cut off your daughter, the mooch that she lives with will be looking for another host, since he is a leech. Not the asshole. Besides anything, there should be no expectancy of an inheritance. I expect my parents to spend all their hard-earned money on themselves, making their retirements, twilight years as comfortable as possible. They've earned that. You're her father, you're not meddling, you're watching out for her. I'd worry that if she can't understand that you only have her best interests at heart, then you're probably going to struggle to get through to her. Good luck though and keep trying. The sill sounds like a right cut. Not the asshole. But she's going to need to come to that realization herself. Before I married my ex-husband, his own mother said I shouldn't marry him because of issues he had. I didn't listen. When we got divorced and I went over to get the final things from the house, she said she's told me so. It always stuck with me. She'll need to find her own way to what sounds like an inevitable conclusion. Let's hope she does soon. Not the asshole. Cut her out of your will and tell him that, after that stop giving her money. He will be gone very fast. You are the biggest enabler and you need to take responsibility. You cannot ask your daughter to do something that you are not prepared to do. You have not been able to cut funding this man through your daughter. The trash would take itself out if you could do the heavy lifting. If you can stop funding this nonsense, then you can ask your daughter to make the hard decision, but as long as you are not willing to cut your daughter off, you need to stop complaining. Soft. You are the asshole. Not the asshole, but the answer is simple. You must stop giving her money and you cut her off. This the only way for him to leave her for good. She enables him, you enable her, this is a vicious cycle. There is another way, and this is to simple sit down with your son-in-law and tell him that you know he is with your daughter for your money, and because of that you have made a new will. Change the will and show it to him. She will get nothing at all, because this way he doesn't get anything at all. However, this is manipulative, could end up with your relationship with daughter worse, and you may have to keep the will like that for some years just to make sure she won't go back to him. Not the asshole. Your money and your decision. I hope she wakes up sooner rather than later, but don't bring it up again. Pushing her is not helpful. Not the asshole, but get a therapist to figure out the best course of action for you to take. Just telling her to leave him won't do anything, and ultimately she is right, you can't control her. As in, it is impossible to control anyone else. Doesn't make her decisions any less stupid, but trying to force this simply won't succeed. You are controlling her life. You are supporting her life. I think you are avoiding the only option here, and that is to quit giving her money to pay for this stellar husband. Yes, the longer they stay together, and he doesn't work, the more alimony she will have to pay, which ultimately will come from you, right? You are enabling an addiction of sorts. Time to tell her you love her very much but can no longer support this situation. After that, her decisions are all her own. You enable her situation. Stop giving her money, stop listening to her complain, stop waiting at her if she comes running. Let her take charge of her own life, and figure out what she wants and can do, and what she does not. Then she'll see him for who he is. Just make sure she knows she can turn to you for help when her life falls apart. That is what she needs to know. Not your opinion of him. She has one of her own already. She's accepting money from you so her husband can play video games. She wants you to pay for therapy for him even though he has plans to abuse her inheritance and her. He does nothing to sustain the marriage. But she doesn't want you to meddle in her relationship. Cool. Stop meddling. Cut off the funds. I suspect he won't stay around long once you do, and maybe once he's gone, your daughter will come to see how he's been using both of you. Not the asshole. Stop controlling my life, Dad, but also I need more money doesn't really scan when you're an adult. Hopefully other commenters have talked you around and shown you that funding her lifestyle is really just funding his. Definitely stop that. However, instead of completely cutting her off, you should take the wonderful suggestion of hers and offer to pay for therapy. For her, not give her money for therapy. You will pay a licensed, accredited therapist directly for her therapy. Hopefully a competent therapist can take her from "I'm so mad at my controlling dad who refuses to pay for my boyfriend's therapy" to "Oh, my boyfriend is a total shit, why did I think this was love?" Not the asshole, and wow. I'm sorry, but cut her off. Consider writing her out of the will temporarily. The one who needs therapy is her, not him. She is staying with an asshole who is okay with her, and wishes her parents dead, essentially. Stop giving her money tomorrow. Her relationship is your business when you're subsidizing it. Not the asshole at all. But definitely stop providing financial assistance. Clearly your daughter needs therapy to address the very low self-esteem she has to put up with such a person. For enabling daughter, tar to herself, obvious reasons. You are the asshole because you haven't dug a hole to hide the body yet. Not one more dime to them. Tell her it's her choice, she can have him and you won't ever say a word again. But you aren't going to finance her mistakes, she's got to pay for that herself. Not the asshole. Other replies are correct. You have to stop supporting her, and by extension him. She doesn't want you to meddle. Then she shouldn't need your money. She wants control of her own life, that means supporting herself. To be honest, even if she didn't have a crappy husband, you still shouldn't be supporting a grown adult. Cut him off from the handouts, rewrite your will so she gets nothing, citing the reasons she is disinherited, and let him know you have done so. Hopefully the trash will take itself out, but even then, be prepared for her to blame you for it. She seems deeply entrenched in this abusive loser. Not the asshole. She is entirely right that you don't have any right to meddle in her life. She's entirely wrong to think you should fucking bankroll it. Cut her off financially, and cut her out of the will immediately, and tell him to his face that she is out of the will so long as she is married to him. Period. If she actually heard him say this and is still with him, she's either in an abusive relationship or delusional. She needs a wake-up call, and maybe giving him the ultimatum will make him actually leave, since there's no well to be drained anymore. I think you should show her this post and let her post her own side of the story and see if the voices of hundreds of strangers can make her see that she's being used. Not the asshole. Your daughter might be in love with him, but she is married to an emotional, financial parasite. Not the asshole. This might be the paranoid cynic in me, but just be aware of the fact that any birth control they are using might, accidentally, fail when you cut him off. Not saying that this will happen, but he, or honestly they, might do that in an attempt to garner sympathy and keep you from cutting him off financially. NTA. If she's old enough to be married, then she's old enough to financially support herself. You shouldn't have to support a grown woman and her husband. Cut him off and he'll go away. Not the asshole at all. WTF. You're the one giving her the money to enable this asshole. If you don't want to cut her out, put her inheritance in a trust that he can't have access to. Everyone sucks here. He just plays video games from the money I give my daughter. So you're giving her the money she's using to enable him. I told her she has to leave him. I don't feel bad one bit, but she keeps saying it isn't my place to meddle in her relationship. You are meddling in her relationship. If you want her to decide to leave her husband, she has to figure that out on her own. Stop supporting her and him and let her see how much it sucks to be the only one in a relationship pulling any weight, and hopefully she'll figure it out pretty quickly. But the more you pressure her to dump him, the more she's going to double down on staying with him. She a full-grown adult, it's high time you start treating her like one and let her deal with the consequences of her choices.